friends. Welcome to the Build and Run podcast, build-run.com. This is a real VR podcast for Unity developers. We are here at VR Lab, New York City, in ITP, NYU. This is the headquarters of VR today. You can see there's a whole bunch of people here, and we are in part 6 of the Unity Bootcamp with John Benton, a fantastic teacher that has just let loose the magnet of his Google Cardboard. That's what happens. The old school Google Cardboard had magnets and funky little pieces of stuff that fall apart. No longer. It gets much better, but our whole group has just received Google Cardboards. They are crinkling their wrappers as we speak to distract you from the lesson. So if you are focused enough and ready enough, without further ado, John Benton will continue Unity Bootcamp at hashtag VRLNY. This episode, just like every other episode, is brought to you by VRVU.com. Full service VR production. Awesome. Enjoy.
So what I'm going to do, okay, so as you can see, from showing my computer, I'm a bit of a spaz. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how easy it is to build to iOS. And then Ramit is going to actually show you the intricacies of it, because it's a pain in the ass. So you need a developer account for iOS, which, as Lex mentioned, is $100 a year, right?
The thing is free without it.
You can build without it now. Yeah.
But they'll still charge you in your sleep.
What about the PC people?
We're going to do an Android build right afterwards.
Yes, I will take care of you all of you that are in the future now and have Android devices, have moved away from the Sith of Apple and have joined the rebellion with unstoppable batteries and much easier platforms. I will take care of you all. Everybody that is still on the dark side, Ramon is an expert of iOS. Not the dark side.
I moved to Android.
He does. Yeah. So our foremost iOS developer has moved to Android, if that says anything. But still, if you look at the backs of people's laptops, there is the Apple, the same one from the Adam and Eve story. If you follow that.
All right. So we're under build settings. We've done our project. We're super happy. We've got our first-person controller in there. Okay. And we go to build. We go to player settings. So in our build settings, we're going to player settings. Now, player settings open in your inspector. Okay. The first thing you want to do is you want to put your company name in it, which is your developer name, okay? Then you get your product name. I called this Lab Number 1. And I selected a default icon, which was just anything that was in my graphics. So what we have here is below that, you can choose the default cursor, but what you'll see below that is now I am in my iOS settings. I can develop for HTML5, Android. They're all right here, okay? I would have to switch platforms, but they're all right here. So these are all of your build settings. The first one is resolution and presentation, okay? I'm not going to worry about these too much. I have auto rotation on for all of my portrait, upside down landscape modes. Your icon is going to be the icon. You can put a splash image in here. I'm not going to worry about it. And debugging, crash reporting, enable internal profiler is sometimes good to put on, or Objective-C uncaught exceptions.
Is the splash image when you open the build, it just shows something really quickly?
Exactly. Exactly.
Do you want them to rotate?
What?
Isn't splash images paid only? Isn't it display the one for the free?
For the free one, it's going to display Unity, and then I think it goes to a splash image. I don't know. Yes, and actually that's a very good point. Because I build a lot of apps, I have the auto rotation on, and I do a lot of VR things that are touch based. So they're not goggle based, but Rana put a good point, which is actually you don't want portrait or portrait upside down, or even landscape right, correct?
Yeah.
It's only landscape left.
To landscape left, but Xcode doesn't actually pick up that setting, so you have to change it there again.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Oh.
And then you take a default orientation too.
Anyway, so whatever, it's working so far. So,
Whatever.
So, but I will say, like, this last screen is where you're going to come back to time and again. So the first thing that's a pain in the ass is the bundle identifier. Okay, you've got to put this in reverse domain name. So instead of saying com, or instead of saying, NYU.com, you say com.nyu dot the name of your product name. So mine is us.love8.lab1. My domain is love8.us. So that's the first thing you have to do. If you do a slash instead of a period, it's going to give, generate an error.
You can't have spaces in your bundle identifier either.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't have any spaces in there. And I think, so these settings look like they're going to be good to go, but when you get errors in builds, okay, this is going to be very often the place you come back to and you're like, oh my God, I've got to change my scripting back end. I've got to change my iPad, my target device. I've got to change this, I've got to change that. Like, so this stuff is where a lot of this stuff that messes up your build is gonna be. Right? So right now we're not going to worry about it, right?
You access this from the player setting?
From the player settings in the build. So the minute I press in my build settings, the minute I press the player settings, this will come up. Right?
You do have to go to 8. Cardboard doesn't support beneath, and it's a bitcode setting also. The target minimum iOS version if you're building for iOS.
Really?
Oh, is that a gotcha or what?
It's in the docs now. You have to be at 8 minimum.
So if you install Cardboard and you have iOS 6, it's just not going to work.
You can do, if you don't
Crappy.
use Cardboard, if you use an older one, you might be able to build with 6, but if you're using the latest, it's 8 plus.
All right, and there's also the bitcode thing too as well, which is a problem as well. So, which they said that they fixed, but they didn't. So I'm going to do the build, and we're going to work through the errors. All right, so I should say build and run, and it's going to say what do you want to do, and I'm going to say lab 1. I've already done this, so I'm just going to replace it. And this is going to basically do the build in Unity, and then it's going to open up Xcode. Don't fret. Raman is here. So, but it's basically, it actually, they're trying to basically get it to be a press of a button. And it almost is, but when it's not, it's not.
What's the relationship with Xcode? Like, why does it need Xcode?
Xcode is doing the bits, compiling it to your phone. I mean,
Anything you put on iPhone or an iPad has to go through Xcode.
yes.
Don, I think it'd be better if they got to their groups and started building.
They will. I want to show them. I think it's better if I just show them the process first, because it's going to run smooth, and they'll actually see that it works, and then they can build and be like, "Why doesn't it work, robot?"
Okay.
Oh, that's still recording. All right.
It's going to happen anyway. Exactly.
Anyway.
Are you recording?
Yeah, it's still recording. The podcast is called Build and Run. You notice the button
But
that you
we're
hit?
right there. I'm right on your heels. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. So I'm in Xcode now. It's not going to compile any errors until the end, and then it's going to be awful. No. So when this pops up, we all tend to freak out and go like, "Oh my God, what if something breaks? I don't know what to do." So I want to also show you that in the same way that I showed you the compiler errors at the very beginning, the same thing is true with the Xcode errors. You can highlight them and then do a search online, and you'll get a ton of people who've just experienced the same things and are going to be like, "Great, this is the way you do it." And basically, it boils down to only a couple of things that you're going to have to really do in a couple of different areas. So once you get okay with that, it gets a little easier. Again, this is not my specialty, but so I defer to you.
All right, you're still a pro. This is basically what you do. And the beauty of Unity, the reason why you use Unity is not only the community, the fact that we're all here together and you could reach out and find people to help you in the asset store, but also it's a multi-platform build tool. So you could build for iOS, Android, and all the other things.
So my build failed.
Oosh.
Okay, now, don't freak out. Don't freak out. It's okay. All I have to do is find out where that linker command is compiled and go in here and say, oh, okay, so the linker command failed with code, blah, 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 blah. Run the, and copy this, select this, put it in your browser. I happen to have done that, and we've talked about this because we've been trying to do builds, and it's this actual simple thing in your project setting, build settings. You have to disable the embed bit code.
Whoa.
So, no, okay? So, there are a couple of areas. Now, I know I did that fast and it looked like super kind of crazy, but there are only a couple of areas that are going to really get problematic with Xcode. It's going to be usually under the build settings. You're going to have to go and change something in here, or you're going to have to add a package to your settings. Under general, you'll have to put, like a security package in here, right? So I just want to get you to kind of like understand that don't be scared when things don't work, okay? Do a search and people will walk you online by the hand through this, okay? So let me try it now.
I'm always scared when things actually do work.
I know. Did I change all those settings? I don't know if I did.
Yeah, you have to, while it loads, you actually have to swear allegiance to Apple for it to fully load. You have to give them your firstborn child, something like, I don't know, your inheritance, everything, So if you accept all those terms, only then will it build to your iOS device. That's what's taking so long. It's actually withdrawing his bank account as we speak.
Use the reverse progress bar. How are you guys doing with this? Okay, are you? I mean, this was a whirlwind overview. Okay, we're gonna break up into groups right now, and we're gonna actually try to do a lot of these things. We've got an hour left.
Ooh. Let's give another hand for John.
Everybody's jaw dropping was like an hour left. What?
Oh, it's still recording. Awesome.
You can use settings.
Is everybody clear on where they're going? Yes.
Do we have to add the Unity, the cardboard packages?
Yeah, we'll go over that too. That's another section.
It's going to take you a really long time.
Yes, you do.
You wanna cut it here? Let's cut it here as you guys are getting anxious and I hear the rumblings of development and creativity in the background. That's the sound you guys are making. We're going to cut this here. You guys can see all of this at build-run.com, the Build and Run podcast. It's familiar to you because if you make a Unity project, the last button you hit is Build and Run, just like the podcast. Enjoy. Thank you all for listening and being part of this awesome community. This episode, just like every other episode, is brought to you by VRVU.com, full service virtual reality production, 360, augmented reality, Vive, all that good stuff. If you want it made, they'll make it for you. VRVU.com. Thank you.
So if you